This episode of Marijuana Today Daily is brought to you by our friends over at Extractioneering Oregon, who just got a processing license in that state and who are raising capital to bring their company to the next level. Swing over to extractioneering.com to learn how you can get involved. That's extractioneering.com, which is spelled like engineering, but with the word extraction. Good morning, Marijuana Nation. It's Wednesday, May 29th, 2019, and you're tuned in to episode 731 of Marijuana Today Daily. I'm your host, Shay Gunther, and I'll be walking you through today's marijuana news and headlines. As always, we have a full and busy day of cannabis news in our hands, so let's jump right into it. Arizona grabs our top story today with a good headline as that state's Supreme Court ruled yesterday that registered medical marijuana users are allowed to consume their medicine in concentrated forms. Regular listeners will remember this storyline as a rabidly prohibitionist conservative prosecutor has been arguing that marijuana concentrates are illegal and that the Arizona Medical Marijuana Act only covers cannabis in flower form. The case decided on yesterday by the state Supreme Court revolves around registered medical marijuana patient Rodney Jones, who was arrested back in 2013 and charged with possessing 1.4 grams of concentrates, which Jones had purchased from a medical dispensary. In yesterday's ruling, justices pointed out that the voter passed medical marijuana initiative legalizing medical cannabis in the first place was very clear about legalizing quote unquote all parts of the plant. This is a big win for justice and for sensible cannabis policy. Today's second top headline is also a bit of good news as the U.S. Department of Agriculture confirmed yesterday that industrial hemp can be legally transported from state to state and that individual states are not free to hold up hemp shipments because of local state laws banning it. The federal government legalized industrial hemp last year in the 2018 Farm Bill, but there's still a ton to be worked out in terms of how the industry is regulated. We've seen a few arrests made this year of truck drivers transporting industrial hemp, so hopefully these clarifications by the U.S. Ag Department help clear things up for any law enforcement agencies that might otherwise target industrial hemp shipments. Pop over to Kyle Yeager's piece in Marijuana Moment for more on this. Our final top story today lands us on the border between New York State and Massachusetts, which has been rolling out its legal adult use sales program since last November. Crain's New York business takes a good look at the Theory Wellness Dispensary, a Massachusetts shop we've covered here on the Daily, almost for this exact same story, which is pulling in some serious business from out-of-state visitors from New York. This story is a good one because it has some hard numbers attached to it. Brandon Pollock, CEO of Theory Wellness, said that his dispensary is drawing in 1,000 people a day on the weekends and has sold $11 million in product since opening up in late January. Of the 50,000 customers served so far, Pollock said that half are from New York State, with half of those living in the New York City metro area. That's a lot of consumer-driven catalyst for change in the Empire State. Pay attention to this one. Those are our top stories for today. It's time for Marijuana Today Daily Headlines Blitz. Before we blitz on in headlines, let's quickly thank our sponsor, Extractioneering Oregon, which just got a processing license in that state and that is raising capital to bring itself to the next level. I've been friends with Dan over at Extractioneering for more than 20 years now, so I can personally attest to the fact that the guy is super smart and knows the art and science of legal cannabis extraction like no one I've ever met. Dr. Dan is a PhD biochemist with years of traditional lab experience, which has informed all of the legal cannabis extraction work done at Extractioneering. And now Dan and his team are ready to take their Oregon processing license and do big things with it. If you'd like to learn more about how Extractioneering is raising capital and how you can get involved, visit extractioneering.com and or email info@extractioneering.com. Extractioneering is spelled like engineering, but with the word extraction. All right, time for the blitz. Marijuana Business Daily's chart of the week dives into the Arkansas medical cannabis story, showing the rise in the state's ranks of medical marijuana patients between last June and now, along with how sales have gone for the 2 dispensaries to open so far in the first week of operations. It seems like there's a lot of demand for medical marijuana in Arkansas, with 52 pounds being sold across just under 5,000 transactions. Pop over for more detail and background context here. California-based marijuana company Harborside, which runs the well-known dispensary chain of the same name, just announced that it has closed on just under $20 million Canadian in private funding, just ahead of going public on the Canadian Securities Exchange. Yesterday, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo said during a couple of radio interviews that he still thinks it's a priority to pass legal adult use marijuana via the state legislature before the end of the current legislative session on June 19th, just 3 weeks away. Cuomo challenged lawmakers to send him a bill to sign into law. A legalization bill was introduced on Friday, so we'll just have to wait and see how things progress. Kyle Yeager has another headline here, and his story is a good one, complete with audio from Cuomo's interviews. Chris Moore, writing over at Mary Jane, has a story up that I think is important for all of us to read and be aware of, with a look at the case of Michael Thompson, who was arrested back in 1994 and sentenced to 40 to 60 years in jail for selling 3 pounds of marijuana. His sentence was particularly harsh because Mr. Thompson was a gun owner, which allowed prosecutors to slap him with stiffer penalties. Thompson has served 25 years of that time, reportedly as a model prisoner, and deserves to come home. Read this story and keep it top of mind. We're not done here until everyone in jail for marijuana crimes comes home. Colorado-based company Charlotte's Web, which specializes in CBD products, is reporting its Q1 fiscal results and said it saw year-over-year revenue growth of 66%, rising to a total of $21.7 million. The company had gross profits of $15.9 million, an adjusted EBITDA of $4.5 million, and net income of $2.3 million. New Cannabis Ventures has more here, including all the details and numbers in between. A proposed bill in the works in Nevada could put a temporary halt to the drive in that state to roll out legal cannabis consumption businesses. Assembly Bill 533 would set up a state cannabis compliance board and would hand authority over the issuing of public consumption businesses to the board at the cost of the local towns and cities which control that now. And finally for today, we have a court decision in Florida in the case of a medical marijuana patient fighting for the right to grow his own cannabis. Joseph Redner lives with cancer and prefers to consume his medical marijuana in juiced form, which you cannot buy in Florida dispensaries, and that requires a large bulk of raw marijuana to make. Redner has been arguing against the state's ban on home grow and yesterday was turned down by the First District Court of Appeal in a bid for a rehearing on a previous trial that he lost. Mr. Redner was also denied in his petition to move his case to the state Supreme Court. Those are the headlines and news for the day. I'll be back with you again tomorrow morning with another information-packed episode of Marijuana Today Daily. But in the meantime, if you have any stories to share or feedback to give, zip us an email to headlines@mjtodaydaily.com. And while you're clicking around the interwebs, swing over to our website at mjtodaydaily.com to find links to all the news we cover. Thanks to our sponsor, Extractioneering, and to all of our awesome Patreon listeners for the support that makes this show possible. To join the illustrious ranks of the Patreon listeners yourself, swing over to our website at mjtodaydaily.com and click on that big blue button at the top of the page that says Become a Patron. I'm your host, Shay Gunther. Thanks for tuning in, starting your day with marijuana today.
One take, Shay. One take.